So that lets everyone know kind of where Shawn is in the house and then where Annie is. She remembered all of our horses, you know, and it's missed her for like 3 years. So it was tough on me. But this declination would carry on from the crawling to the limping to the wheelchair. And we were going back and forth to Mayo Clinic every 6 months and looking from top to bottom, Rochester, Minnesota, best doctors, or some of the best doctors in the world. As we're going back and forth to Mayo, there's no answers. They kept looking at her spinal fluid around her brain and into her spinal fluid. They kept thinking there's a leak there. There's something we didn't get right. And really, really frustrating for us because Kate's getting worse. But we had a great year.
And I think, and you're more medical people understand what it was, but I remember laying on my tummy at Mayo Hospital they did it twice, where they inject something into your spine because they were worried about if that was working, etc. And they just couldn't figure it out. And every 6 months we went back and they said, well, we'll see you in another 6 months and we'll see what else is going on.
And I think the terminology is a blood patch, if some of you are familiar with it, a blood patch. And again, I'm talking with these doctors, we're very, very patient, but we're wheeling her back and forth from Colorado to Mayo every 6 months. We started looking outside of the box. We're just grasping, as a lot of people do with people that have cancer in their family. We go down to Mexico, Rosarito, Mexico, to a place called Santa Vive Institute. And at Santa Vive is very cleansing, very healing type of atmosphere. They do every test in the world also. But we're reaching. We're just reaching to this point. We're grasping because we're seeing Kate die in front of our eyes. This is Kate with one of our neighbors that did have some issues with cancer and unbelievably did have some positive things at Santa Vive. But if you'll see Kate, that doesn't look like our regular Kate with all the meds she was on. This is a pretty good one because I think that her deal was just not being able to walk on her own. And you see the weight gain, but you always see it was a beautiful place. But you always see her smiling, even though we were kind of at the end of the rope in our mind. And this is probably the most important. The Mayo doctors talk about showing this, and they had told us to write the story. But if you'll notice, you know, we had significant weight change, and even with her height, and then you'll see patient has visual problems. She went from 20/20 vision down to 10/15 and worse during this whole ordeal. And we're just keep thinking, why would her vision be changing? What's going on? This was one of the last ones at Mayo. She lost the physical abilities, and really the Mr. thing, we joke about it, and I knew she didn't know my name. She couldn't form it. It got that bad. And we were really looking at the end of the line. We go back, return to Mayo, and another miraculous thing, I think, was our last trip to Mayo. And Kate's dying. Her lungs are shutting down. She has very little, if any, speech. And at this point, you know, you're talking with the best doctors, and here's this guy, this cowboy from Texas, trying to tell these neurosurgeons what to do. Well, they're sending us home. They're sending us home the last day. They've done 5 days of testing, thousands of dollars, and can't find out what's going on with her. So it came out of my mouth. It wasn't me saying it, but it came out of my mouth. I said, can you take the MRI 5 years ago, can you take that and can you put it side by side with today's MRI? I mean, you're sending us home. You said there's nothing, you can't find anything. Folks, or y'all, sometimes the obvious is not that obvious. Right. And looking outside of the box is where we stress the paramount thing is to have a family member or friend or both with you as a patient advocate. In 15 seconds, after they put the MRIs together, and this wasn't the neurological team, this was a X-ray tech, put the MRIs together, and they said, that's it.